This is the solution video for section 3.5, problem number 3. All right, so the problem says to find dy dx. All right, so we're going to start by taking the derivative with respect to x of both sides. So derivative with respect to x of 5x squared minus xy minus 4y squared, and then the derivative with respect to x of the other side of the equation. All right, so on the left side, all right, I have 5x squared. So the derivative of 5x squared would be 10x times the derivative of x dx. Remember that dx is just 1. Minus, now we have a product of x and y. So we're going to subtract the product rule. Now I'm going to use parentheses here, and that's going to remind you to distribute the negative sign. All right, so I have x times the derivative of y, which is dy dx, of course, plus y times the derivative of x, which is dx, which is, of course, just 1, the derivative of x with respect to itself, right? And then minus the derivative of 4y squared. So that's going to be 8y times dy dx. All right. And then equals the derivative of 0, of course, is 0. Okay. Now, remember, these parentheses do matter. It does tell me to distribute that. So I have 10x minus x dy dx minus y times 1 minus 8y dy dx. And so, of course, I'm going to solve for dy dx. So I'm going to keep the negative 8 dy dx, minus x dy dx, and then minus 8y dy dx, and then equals, I'm going to add the y to the other side, and I'm going to subtract the 10x. All right. And then now I'm going to factor. So I'm going to factor out dy dx. And then I've got negative x minus 8y equals y minus 10x. So now I need to divide. So I have dy dx is equal to y minus 10x, all divided by negative x minus 8y. Now, it's also possible that you have a slightly different variation of this, right? Like imagine that I factor out a negative 1 in the denominator. So then I have x plus 8y, right? And then I have y minus 10x. But what if I also factored out a negative 1 in the numerator, right? And so that means I would have negative 1 times, and this could become negative y plus 10x, right? Which means if I could reduce those negatives and get 10x minus y divided by x plus 8y. Now, this is equivalent to this, but you might find one on the